If you think eco is constrained to building and creating on a voxel world, then you're not entirely correct. There's also a voxel space. And one thing that visitors to the DadSpeed server often overlook is a massive and functional spaceship hovering high above the Earth. The ship's contents, purpose, and the message it brings to everyone on the server in this easily overlooked object will finally be revealed right now in this video. So there's multiple functions of this ship hovering in high orbit. And one thing that doesn't do it justice from the ground is its massive size. It's truly enormous, and we're going to go up and take a look. A big part of its purpose is a welcome and information center, but it also serves as a kind of exit strategy. Any eco server's world has a spawn point, and using some very clever ingenuity, a new player can teleport themselves up to the ship and enter its contents, and learn about the server. The server command, unstuck, allows folks to take a free ride up to the ship. So let's climb aboard and see what we have to find. What's very cool up here is that you get a sense of how high up this ship really is. We are way above the cloud layer, with the planet just being a diffused sphere below, and the inky blackness of space above and all around you. When you buy a land claim in Eco, you own all the way from the planet's core up to this very high ceiling of space itself. So let's take a look around. When you walk in, it's immediately impressive. The balcony and lobby area is huge, with windows to the exterior, lots of lighting, and enough signage and architecture to keep a person busy looking around for quite a while. A key item here are the server rules that describe the skill point generation and star limits, along with explanations that describe how the server's skill strategy that limits taking skills that vertically feed into each other helps provide a strong and long-lasting economy. The creator of the signage also incorporated a good bit of lore and little jokes scattered all about, so it's pretty entertaining reading. The architecture and materials used work really well, and this ship is so massive, a small space shuttle occupies the interior lobby. That in itself also contains a full interior. We'll take a look at that in a second, because we've only begun the tour of this incredible construction project. There's very cool little Star Trek corridors and observation decks where you can get a view of the planet and space and oversee various parts of the ship's exterior. Building this high up was a feat of engineering, and not only do I applaud the resourceful people that put this together, but I'm also really excited to see what they'll put together on the Space Engineers server, which opens up entirely new possibilities of building and creativity. This spaceship has multiple floors and multiple rooms. After leaving the main lobby, you come into an area that provides information about the server's laws. Many of these carry over themes from previous seasons, but each season often brings unique items that bolster sagging skills or promote certain kinds of gameplay. This season, agriculture and an agrarian economy was a big focus, and there were several laws that promoted gatherers, farmers, millers, and anyone involved in that part of the economy, including the ability for anyone to rent out their land for farming, and law-enforced separations of jobs across the skills for plowing and gathering to increase the need for those skills. Taxes and their functions are described here also, as well as some special laws and real estate opportunities associated with Atlantis, which was another huge project. Atlantis turned into its own mini-city at the bottom of the ocean with stores and housing, and even though it was continually expanding, it was thought to be a last refuge for any diehard citizens when the eventual meteor comes. I mean, it's inevitable, right? Earth's history seems to be littered with big strikes from space. This spaceship was really outdone with seating areas, skylights, you name it. But let's wander to the lower deck and see what we find there. I love this agricultural museum that showcases a big array of plants. But what I think is really cool are all the signs that mark each one of the plants. They're really clever, and my hat goes off to the creators. It was way beyond what I expected. And there's points of interest scattered everywhere, little rooms and information, and it's all architecturally styled and blended in an already unique location, with a purpose and with information. I have to admit that I keep being surprised at what's around each corner, and I think one of the intrigues for any visitor is just exploring and seeing what's here. Having all the passageways and little rooms also adds to the feeling of how immense this structure really is. Seriously, a whole area just dedicated to mushrooms and ferns. It's so well thought out, and again, more of the clever signage. Over time, everyone on the server eventually builds some amazing structures, in addition to what's already incredible stores, warehouses, and homes. People coming to the server get to read about some of these attractions. And of course, no spaceship is complete without an engine room. I don't know exactly what an eco-spaceship engine room looks like, but I get the vibe of it being some sort of power generation from light transference and conversion through lenses. Information is everywhere, and I think it's a particularly nice touch for there to be recognition to the people that made this happen. That kind of collaboration and mutual support is one of the things I really love about this server and community that plays any of the DadSpeed game servers. Even to the point of knowing that a good server's economics requires some coordination and understanding of mutual goals. Finally, I had to tour the smaller interior shuttle. So let's step inside and see what it's like. It's got some room to move around up here, a little pilot area and command chair, a little cargo area, nice touch with a little room in the back. I suppose passengers could stand back here and watch out the windows. Overall, this little shuttle is a nice touch, and even the exterior nacelle engines have some colorized styling. The spaceship is huge and amazing, and to get down, it's fortunate that there's no fall damage in Eco, because it winds up just being one big step, and boom, you're down. But this ship has a secondary purpose other than a welcome center. I talked about Atlantis as a kind of underwater shelter for a meteor, and our astrologist has spotted a big one incoming that's expected to hit the planet July 1st. For those not wanting to risk their lives in a watery Atlantis death, the spaceship serves as an escape pod. So anyone on board by July 1st will take a 2-week journey through space before arriving at a new home on July 15th. A new fresh eco-planet has been found that has diverse biomes, rich resources, and has been completely untouched by any Econians. So it's ripe for building, creating, terraforming, setting up new economies and governments. You name it. It can happen in the DadSpeed Long Play Server sandbox. And if you want to stay on board the Eco spaceship, feel free to express your creative engineering in the Space Engineers server, and you'll find all that connection information pinned in the Discord channel. It's sad to see this season's end, but get ready for a new season, because each season seems to get more and more outrageous. Take care, and I'll see you somewhere out there in the universe.